Hello and welcome. This is Cheryl. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we're doing day 15 of the Spellbinders Crafty Advent Calendar. I'm going through one by one and creating a little tag or a card with whatever's in the calendar. Today we've got an embossing folder. So it's a nice slimline one. It'll go down the side of a card. You could do this multiple times to do a whole background if you wanted. So I'm going to use it to create the front of a card, but I'm only going to emboss it one time. I just want that embossed edge on one side of the card. So I'm placing my cardstock in it, making sure that it's nicely lined up. And this design on here is really nice and easy to line up. This would be great with that border die that was in one of the other days as well. It's a very similar look to it. I chose not to do that border die with it, but because they do have very similar qualities, I could see them complementing each other really nicely. So I'm going to use that flower die that came with one of the previous days. I think it was day 10. I will have it listed and a similar substitute linked in the description below. And I'm going to create a card front with this embossed panel that is just embossed on one side. And I've already pre-cut my die cuts off camera and assembled the little buds. I also want to use the sentiment stamp. This is just, it says just to someone special. It's nice to have a few sentiments on these, and I kind of thought the card would look a little bit plain without a sentiment on there. So I'm using some picked raspberry distress ink. It looks nice with the cardstock colors that I've chosen for the flowers. Those flowers, you could do them in any colors, and I love the fact that their size is perfect for using up some cardstock scraps. And I also really love just that embossed image on the one side. Sometimes when you have backgrounds, you're limited to doing the entire piece, but I really like this, that you can do it over the one side and it just gives it a little bit more of an interesting look. As I'm gluing things down, I like to put an acrylic block on top of the background just to hold it down and make sure that it stays nice and flat with the glue while I'm doing something else. It just frees up my hands to work on other things. So I'm layering my flower together and gluing it with some Distress Collage medium. The last time I used this flower, I snipped each one of those petals and I rounded them. This time I thought I'd just do it flat just to show you that it can be done flat. You don't have to do it the way I did it before, and it looks really nice that way as well. I'm placing that flower where I want it to go, but I'm not gluing it down just yet. I'm going to glue down the buds and the leaves first. And by not gluing that flower down, I can easily lift it up and put those stems right underneath where that flower is so that they're nicely hidden. It's nice to be able to just have that there to know exactly where I'm going to put it, but be able to place the things around it. Now, because I'm using a liquid glue, I could have glued it down and easily still tucked all these pieces behind there. But because it's also a nice big piece, it's really easy to just do it this way and wait until I'm completely done to glue the whole thing down. This card is very simple design and it's just nice and bright. That pop of color from those flowers is really nice. I love cards like this that come together really, really quickly, but they really have a nice impact on them. And I think that hot pink with the white, the contrast of the two different colors, really suits it. I'm just going to put a little bit of Stickles in the center of the flower as well as a little bit on the buds just to add a different texture to it. It didn't necessarily need it, but sometimes just a touch of glitter really helps to enhance and kind of give a little bit of sparkle to the card. So this is all I've done for this card. I really love that embossed background and I can see using it on many things in the future. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you tomorrow for day 16. I really appreciate you being here.